Are you confused between overthinking and intuition? Let's break it down. I'm Hannah, a licensed therapist sharing heart's wisdom. So, intuition is this quiet knowing within your gut or within some part of yourself. Sometimes I'll even feel it in my heart. Overthinking is your mind. It is that racing of thoughts. It is the trying to figure something out. So if you find yourself trying to figure it out, this is likely overthinking. Here is an example from my life. A few years back, maybe 5, I had a friend and I started to get this feeling. And I couldn't even really tell you exactly what it was, but I remember it was like in my gut and in my heart. And it was like something's off, something's not right. And the subtleness of it was kind of to like be careful. Like she wasn't going to hurt me or anything, but maybe the friendship wasn't going to be as deep as I thought. And I would keep getting this feeling over and over and over again. But here is where the overthinking came. So then I would have the feeling and I would think about it. I would say, well, what are the facts? And I would say, oh, she calls me back. We do things together. We have fun. And I would just kind of remind myself of all the positive things within the friendship. But then there'd be this little gut feeling that would say, something's off, something's off. And I couldn't really explain it. And it took a couple of years for me to understand what that off feeling was. So my friend and I were out for breakfast. And I remember it was like around the 4th of July. And we're out for breakfast. And all of a sudden, this friend starts to rip into my friend and I and telling us how we're not very good friends and that she's going to move. And we've never been really that great. And we were both kind of shocked and surprised because we really felt like we'd shown up and we were really great friends. And I remember she was going on while we were talking, and I finally kind of got up and I asked, I said, well, can you please give us some specific examples of how this is true? And she wouldn't give the examples, probably because they weren't there. And so I remember I all of a sudden decided like, okay, I'm not going to like just sit here. So I got up and I left. And I paid my bill and I left and I went to sit in my car and I was about to burst into tears. And then all of a sudden I just had this knowing. I was like, oh, you knew somewhere inside of you knew that this wasn't a friendship to nurture. And I ignored it. And I ignored it by overthinking. And it was so subtle. That knowing inside of me was so, so subtle. But here's where I don't have to despair. I remember thinking to myself, okay, now, when I have that feeling again with another person, I'm going to listen to it. And I won't use my mind to talk myself out of that feeling. And so intuition is a subtle kind of knowing within your gut.